End. Chapter 3, we move to USHA HQ to find George and the rest of USHA brainstorming of ways to deal with the incoming threat. George, get me in contact with the other nations. Do what you can to see if they'll fire their nukes at that thing, and get every hero who can fly in the vacuum of space out there to do what they can to stop it. I don't want that anywhere near our planet. Where did it even come from? He orders as the men and women of USHA do as they're told. Man, looking at the readings on his computer. Sir, we've got 60 minutes till it gets close enough to start affecting us. George, I think the kid has something to do with this thing. Suddenly a voice comes to his head. Thraxas' voice. You would be correct, General, for my family is the one responsible for sending that thing towards our world. George, I see you still like getting into PPR's head without warning. He says audibly enough for the rest of the room to hear, with them deducing it's the alien. Thraxa, well, how else am I supposed to talk to you from all the way down here? But back on point, my family made that rock in a way only I can handle. Her heroes and weapons won't to do so much as scratch it if you simply give the word or go deal with it myself, he relays. Woman, sir. George, report, woman. Most of the nations have agreed to send out their nukes. They should be firing them now. She reports as we move to the oceans to see the huge ships, sending out nukes from it to the skies, with the nukes being so fast that they leave Earth and into space in mere seconds, with the hundreds more flying towards the planetoid. The first missile is making contact with the thing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She continues to report as the first nuke goes crashing on the planetoid, as the ones behind it follow suit with multiple explosions occurring on the planetoid, but then the PPL in the room had expression on their faces that spelled out utter disbelief. Man, how is this possible? An officer says, looking at the satellite footage, with even more gasping at the sight as another kneels down and starts praying. George, why haven't they fired that SS yet? We even moved to the outside of USHA HQ to see the ground heroes and civilians all over Earth looking up in disbelief. Civilian, may God be with us all. He says in a shaky tone. We then moved to the planetoid, for the missiles did 0 damage to the planetoid, for it continued on its course towards Earth. We then moved to the sun, where beside it we see what looks like a huge space station. Inside it, we see several humans and red-skinned alien like men and women, as we move to the center of the room to see a tall woman, wearing a white military-like suit with a cap on her head written Justice, in bold. Woman, where is my report on that thing? Human male. It appears to be made of multiple materials, about 10,000 of the toughest material Earth has to offer. Red-skinned female. There seems to be more to it. It is imbued with the mystic arts. Capped woman. Where could this have even come from, she asks. No matter. Ready the SS to 30% power. Red man. Roger. Human woman. All systems are check. Human man. Acquiring target, he says as we see them locking in on the planetoid. Target acquired. Awaiting orders to fire. Capped woman. Fire. We move to the outside of the station to see a gigantic barrel from below the station pointing towards the planetoid, with it glowing blue on its inside, as a blue being shoots out of it and instantly collides with the meteor, but then we see the PPL inside the space station, staring out in awe. Red man, unbelievable. He expresses disbelief. Human woman, it appears 30% didn't do anything to it, only managed to delay it colossum with Earth by a couple of seconds, she reports. We then go back to Earth to see multiple heroes now outside of Earth's atmosphere staring at the planetoid, with members of Gamma such as Angel Knight, Strongarm, Kaminari and Synergy up there with other heroes. Angel Knight, summoning Divine Breaker in his arms, with the heroes seeing this as they too get ready to deal with the planetoid, as Angel Knight looks to his fellow Gamma members, then to the other heroes who were up there with him, nodding to them, with them understanding what he means, as they begin firing at the planetoid with all their powers at the planetoid, with Strongarm, together with other strength-type heroes moving on the planetoid, to hit at it with all their might, everyone simply trying everything they can to deal with it. But all their efforts amounted to nothing, as all they did, the results were the same as the nukes. Angel Knight tried firing Divine Breaker at it multiple times, but each time didn't even leave so much as a burn on it. Synergy. looking at everyone, then back to the planetoid, as his eyes light up, for he got an idea. "I've got an idea," he said to his comms, which had a telepathic setting for times like these. Guys, getting the hero's attention. "Angel Knight, what is it?" "Synergy. I want all the heroes who have any form of outward energy output to get behind me and aim all they have at my back." He relays it as they look confused a bit, with Kaminari understanding what his brother is up to. Kaminari: "Since firing all over doesn't work, maybe a concentrated strike will." "Well, come on, guys. What are we waiting for? You heard the man," Kaminari says to the others as they now understand, with all of them flying behind Synergy. Angel Knight: "Strongarm, you and the others need to get off that thing." He relays to Strongarm and the heroes who were on the planetoid. Strongarm: "Copy." With him getting off of the planetoid, the gravity of it a bit strenuous. But him and all the heroes who were on it get away from it and move behind the heroes who were behind Synergy. With Synergy getting ready to receive the blast from the other heroes, with them awaiting his word. "Synergy, hit me," he says as all the heroes hit him with everything they got, with Synergy looking a bit in pain but perseveres, with his being starting to glow. "Ah, not yet, give it more power, guys," he says to them as they add even more power to their attacks, with his eye now beginning to glow. As he absorbs all the power he is hit by, he then holds out his arms. The space in front of his arms start to distort a bit, with a red sparklight at the center of the distortion, with a big red wave of energy flying outwards, expanding as it goes. The heroes, who have now stopped firing at him, get pushed back a bit as Angel Knight moves behind Synergy, for more was still to come, as Synergy collective beam grows stronger, bigger and brighter, that it envelops the entire planetoid, as Angel Knight holds out Divine Breaker, stopping the force from travelling backwards, holding his ground against it, even blocking off most of the brightness from blinding the Earth. The collective blast was so bright that it shone brighter than anything else within the galaxy, even if it was just for a moment. As we make our way back to Earth, where the ground heroes were keeping the civilians calm, Golden Light, Barrier Girl, Arsenal and more heroes protected the people of Earth from the blinding light by taking them to cover, with others being a bit dazed, but okay nonetheless, and no one blinded. Golden Light, who was with a crowd of PPL. "Don't worry, y'all are fine. Hope no one was blinded by that." With them looking back up, blinking a bit, but then the civilians' faces twist in horror. "That can't be good," Golden Light says in disbelief as we move back in space. Synergy had collapsed from handling that much power, and his body was aimlessly drifting in space. As Kaminari moves to check on him, Angel Knight looks back to the heroes. "Angel Knight, hope everyone's okay back there," he asks, but the heroes all had a look of disbelief across their faces, with Angel Knight turning to see the planetoid, wasn't even fazed by the attack, for it was still in one piece. Kaminari, carrying his brother. "What do we do now?" he asks. Angel Knight looks to him, then to the other heroes, realizing that they were now short of breath. Angel Knight: "Let's first get to Earth's atmosphere. Everyone could use a bit of air right now," he says as they all move to within Earth atmosphere. Back at USHA HQ. "George, do we have any idea what that thing is made out of?" Woman: "According to the satellite scanners, the presence of various types of metals and materials, including titanium, osmium, diamond and more, many more, are present. There are over 10,000 materials that make up the planetoid." George: "How is that even possible?" Woman: "Wait, sir, there's more. It's coated with the mystic arts." George: "Magic! Ah," he says with the whole room shaking up. "What now? Is this an earthquake?" Woman: "The planetoid has gotten close enough to Earth that..." George: "We just spit it out, soldier." Woman: "It's starting to pull Earth towards it. Our planet is leaving its own orbit, sir," she says as we move to all over the world to see it experiencing global-level earthquakes, oceans going crazy, tsunamis forming everywhere, as even more heroes who out at sea tried to calm the waters, with others freezing them and others trying to control the waves, with those on land helping the civilians get to safety. We even get an outer view of Earth as it slowly moves towards the planetoid. But surprisingly, everything was in one piece, apart from the oceans at least. Although everything was shaking violently, nothing was coming undone. The roads, the buildings, even the waters were slowly starting to calm down, leaving the heroes surprised at how this is happening. We then see the Earth moving back to within its orbit as everything calms down completely. The heroes and PPL confused on what is even happening anymore. Man. Seems that somehow the earthquakes and the tsunamis have suddenly stopped, as we see George with a look on his face that speaks, "I know who's responsible," with Thraxa's voice speaking into their heads. "Thraxa, very much welcome. But then again, this is sort of my fault, so sorry in advance. Either way, I have my telekinetic hold over a planet. I can keep it in orbit while maintaining its integrity for as long as I need to, so you don't need to worry about your planet having catastrophic events anymore. But all that won't mean anything if that planetoid collides with a puny planet. The planetoid was a handiwork of my sister and brother. The materials coming from my brother. The magic coming from my sister. How it got here. It's just how I got here. Blame my father for that. Those materials, from what I can tell from the planetoid, have been strengthened further by about 10 times their original by my sister's spell, with another spell on top of that, which takes all actions advanced on it to restore it faster than the damage can even occur. Hence why none of her attempts have worked on it. As we come to see Thraxa in his holding place, just floating about. George, didn't I tell you to get out of my head? Thraxa, hey, I only told you this so you can see that your efforts are futile. If you want that thing gone, just say the word general, because outside of me, only 2 others can deal with it. But you already knew that, with one of the 2 being locked up somewhere, then the other restricted from using over a certain point of her own strength. So all you got. George, how do you know about them? As he is interrupted by one of his own. Man, sir, we have only 10 minutes now before it enters the Earth's atmosphere. An officer reports, with George looking to his men who had looks of defeat on their faces. We then move to see Spatial, who had moved in a secret facility, and there seems to be a contraption, with the name Supercharger written above it. The name speaks for itself, as she proceeds to hook herself to it. Spatial, tapping her earpiece. Yo, leader, I have a plan. Angel Knight, let's hear it. Spatial, you won't like it. Those words were enough for Angel Knight to understand what she meant. Angel Knight, just where are you right now? Spatial, in a sad tone. You already know where I am, so there's no point in me saying it. Angel Knight, with a look of horror on his face. Don't you dare turn that machine on. That's an order, you hear me? Spatial, we both know this is the way to get rid of that thing. If even the space station's SS could only but slow it down, our chances of stopping it were already 0. If I power myself with this, I can open a portal big enough to send this planet-sized rock away from her. I was thinking inside the sun, she says as she giggles. Angel Knight, this isn't time for jokes. That thing is unstable. We don't know what it'll do to you, he says with Kaminari, who was carrying his unconscious brother and strong arm, coming at his side to hear the conversation. Spatial, I am well aware, but if it's to save my home, I'm willing to take risks. As she turns the machine on, as she starts to scream in pain. Well, it was a fun time being with you guys, she says as she screams from the pain. We move in front of the planetoid to see a portal starting to slowly open, with it growing bigger. Arnold and the others realize it as he and the Gamma members start to swiftly move towards Spatial's location. Angel Knight, please let me reach in time, he says to himself as he eyes back to see the rift slowly getting bigger, with his and the other Gamma members growing more worried. We then move over to Spatial, who was still in the supercharger, looked to be in agonizing pain as her screams fill the room, the supercharger seemingly burning her skin off. Still not big enough, she whispers to herself, trying to fight off the pain as her portal grows bigger. But then the supercharger started coming apart, with its pieces flutting around the room together with the heavily damaged Spatial floating BTWN, the parts of the dismantled device. Elise. Parts of her skin burned up and on the verge of losing consciousness, wondering to herself why she is floating. Huh? Did I do it? Is this what it feels like to die? I don't want to die, she says in a weak-toned voice with her vision going dark. Outer space. We see the portal closing and disappearing. As the Gamma members look up to see it's no longer there, as they all assume the worst has happened, when a voice sounds out to them. Voice. Why the long faces? As they all turn in unison to see Thraxa, now somehow in front of them. Strongarm. How are you here? He asks, surprised the boy is before them. Thraxa, relax, I'm not here to fight. A Commander General gave me the okay to come stop that thing. Angel Knight, with a look of frustration on his face. How is a child supposed to help us with that? He says in a cold voice, pointing back at the coming planetoid, as he receives a transmission from USHA HQ. George, stand down, kid. I sent him to deal with it, George says to Angel Knight, who then looks to Thraxa. Thraxa shrugs, staying silent as he flies above them, as the other heroes go on edge on seeing him, but he passes by them without a single word. Thraxa stares at the incoming planetoid, with the heroes staring at him, wondering what he was going to do. Thraxa extends out of his arms towards the planetoid, whose head was now within Earth's atmosphere. As he closes his hand into a fist, with the planet-sized rock shrinking down instantly to handheld size, with it falling into Thraxa's arm. The heroes in shambles of what just happened. Random hero? How did he? What did he? He was at a loss for words of what he just witnessed. Another hero then erupts in joy as others follow suit, with the people down below, heroes and civilians, jumping for joy, realizing the meteor was now dealt with. Even the officers back at HQ, many in tears of joy. Everyone on Earth was happy that they survived, all but a certain group of heroes, a group of friends who were grieving, for they thought they had lost one of their own. Thraxa turns to the heroes, with the once massive planetoid now at his hand, reduced from its former size. He then floats in front of Angel Knight, Kaminari, Strongarm, and the now conscious Synergy. Synergy, stirring awake at his brother's side. What happened? He asks, as he looks to his brother, who was fighting back tear and doesn't answer. Angel Knight, looking at Thraxa in front of them. What do you want now? He asks with a demanding tone. Thraxa, looking at Angel Knight and the rest, as he feels their sorrow. Well, no need to be so rude, and no need for you guys to be sad either. Her friend's okay, he says with them, looking at him in disbelief. Strongarm, you better not be toying with us, man. That would be cruel even for you, he says. Thraxa, what are you implying with that? But anyway, I'm not lying if you don't believe me. She is with our other friends, he says with Angel Knight, wasting no time and contacting them. Angel Knight, Barrier Girl, Arsenal, Golden Light. Come in, you two, he asks as he goes silent, waiting for a replying. Golden Light. We hear you, man. Geez, you don't got to shout my ears off. Angel Knight. Sorry about it's just that. Is Spatial Barrier Girl. Yeah, she all right, a bit dinged up, but all right. Barrier Girl says with relief, washing over Angel Knight's strong arm and Kaminari, with Synergy looking confused at the situation. Arsenal, ye shall make it. Synergy, again. Just how long have I been out, and what exactly did I miss? He asks, with Kaminari giving him a smile. Kaminari, you didn't miss anything, brother. You didn't miss anything at all, he says to him. Synergy, you sure, 'cause it sounds like I missed a lot. But if you say so, I guess, as they turn their attention back to Thraxa. Angel Knight, now smiling. I'm guessing you had something to do with that. Thraxa, I don't know, he replies with a sarcastic smile on his face, with Angel Knight chuckling a bit. Angel Knight, humble, huh? I apologize if I came off as rude to you before. Thraxa, it's right. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be getting to dispose of this thing, he says as he starts flying upwards. Strongarm, hold up just a sec, he says, even surprising himself, with Thraxa raising a brow, side-eyeing him. Thraxa, what? Strongarm, I was just wondering, shouldn't we keep that? Looking at Angel Knight, Kaminari and Synergy. Synergy, wait, is that the meteor, Kaminari? Yep, Synergy. Yee, you're gonna have to fill me in on what happened. Thraxa, looking at Strongarm. Here's the deal, if you can hold it without moving an inch, it's hers, so catch. he says, tossing the shrunken planetoid to Strongarm. Strongarm, wait, what? As he receives the shrunken piece, but as soon as he held it, he swiftly started to plummet towards the surface from its weight. As he suddenly appears back at his friend's side, with the shrunken planetoid back in Thraxa's hand. Thraxa. I may have shrunk it, but its mass, gravity and weight are still the same. Actually, if anything, its gravity and density are higher as it is now. The only reason y'all aren't being pulled apart by its gravity it's caused. I have a telekinetic hold around it now, as I was saying. I'm off to dispose of it. As he instantly leaves with a sonic boom, pushing the Gamma and the heroes away a bit. Carminari, come on guys, let's go check on her. Releasing his brother as they start flying down with the heroes also going back down. Synergy. So we're just going to ignore that, okay, I guess, as he flies behind them. We move down on Earth atop a random building to see a tall woman with dark skin, short-trimmed and dyed brown hair, black eyes staring at a shimmer in the distance, which was Thraxa flying out. Woman. Well, he's indeed interesting, and he somehow knew of me and Esther, had George, she says. George. And how long have you been listening in? Woman. Long enough. Yvonne tapped me into her systems. George. Of course she did. I'm guessing if I hadn't given him the okay, he would have gone and done it herself. Women. Of force. As if a rule like that is going to keep me from saving my home planet. George. Good thing you didn't have to, as the woman moves away from the building. We move to USHA to see them viewing a dot on a screen with the image of the solar system. The dot was instantly crossing all planets, with it going beyond the solar system within seconds and disappears once it goes past it. Man, we can't track him anymore. He's just gone. These kinds of speeds have never been recorded before. Woman. It's not just that. He seems to have left the entire galaxy. George, teleportation? Woman. No, sir. From the readings, it appears it was through sheer speed. He's just gone. The officer says, shocked. George, as he looked a bit shaken by the news, but keeps his cool. The good news is that the major issue has been dealt with. Don't worry, the child will be back. Woman. And would that be a good thing or a bad thing? She asks. George responded with silence. We see the heroes moving back down the Earth to check on things there, as the Gamma rush back to HQ, where Golden Light and Barrier Girl had taken Spatial for treatment. They find her, resting on a bed, bandaged but looked to be healed up, with Barrier Girl and Golden Light beside her as Spatial wakes up. Barrier Girl, looking to her as the door opens with Angel Knight and the rest coming in. Guys, as they rush in to check on her with her slowly opening her eyes to be met with her friends' faces as her eyes light up at their sight, with tears threatening to fall. Spatial, Jackie, she says solemnly. Jackie, as tears flow from her eye. You had us so worried, Elise. Plus, don't do that again, she says. Elise, Jackie, she says as the sound of armor clanking comes, for Angel Knight retracted his armor into what looks like silver bracelets at his wrists, revealing a tall boy with a black t-shirt on, short kempt black hair with brown eyes. Angel Knight, honestly, I should be chewing you out for going against orders, but I'm just glad you're okay. Elise, Arnold? Synergy, we all are. Natty told me what happened. Elise, who also looked to be on the verge of tears. You guys, as they start falling from her face. I'm so sorry. I thought I'd died. I didn't want to do it, but I wanted to save everyone. I wanted to save you guys, she says as they all come in for a group hug. Kaminari, it's okay. Just let it all out. What matters is that you're okay now. Elise, oh, Natty, I'm so lucky to have you guys as my friends, she says, hugging them. Golden Light, we're the lucky ones to have a friend who's ready to save us no matter the cost, as they release from the embrace. Elise, wiping away her tears. Farid, I'm sure all you would be done the same, as the room door opens, with Arsenal and an old nurse woman walking in. Old nurse, seems she's doing okay now, but this is still a medical room. The rest of you should know better than to crowd inside a patient's room. Now get out, all of you. Leave the poor girl to get her rest, she says, chasing them out the door. Arnold. We're sorry, Nurse Josephine. We just wanted to see if Elise was all right. Nurse Josephine. Well, she's fine. Now leave the girl rest. It was bad enough when it was just the other day. It's a miracle she even lived her burns. Luckily, she arrived to me as soon as she did. You should thank that alien boy for bringing her here as soon as he did, and add another thanks for finally getting rid of that stupid machine. Honestly, I do not know why we still had that thing, she says. Synergy. Oh, I thought he just called Farid, who then rushed her here. Farid. No, actually, he came to us after informing us her condition. He somehow knew where to find all of us, and knew Nurse Josephine would heal her. Arsenal clairvoyance, Elise. Ha! Did you say something, Fidel? Fidel. Yeah, the boy. Thraxas his name. How he found all of us. Knew you were in danger, and teleported you to Nurse Josephine. He has clairvoyance, hence why he knew all of that. Nurse Josephine. Well, no matter. Just thank that kid. If it wasn't for him, we would have lost Elise here, she says as she looks at Elise on the bed, who was turning red at the cheeks. Ha! What's wrong with you? Don't tell me you're still feeling sick now, she says, moving to Elise's side with her still blushing. Arnold. Is she okay? Nurse Josephine. You kids still here, get out of here. The patient needs her rest, she says, shooing off the team as she turns back to Elise. To be young again. Elise. What? She says, coming out of her trance. Nurse Josephine. Oh, nothing. Simply remembering when I was her age, she says, Elise looking down with a light blush coming to her cheeks again. We move to deep outer space inside an empty dark void famously known as the Booties Void, inside to find Thraxa, who had just entered it, with the shard in hand, then tosses it out, expanding it back to original size. Thraxa, looking back to the lights that were the rest of the universe. This should be far out enough, looking back to the planetoid. Let's see how this holds up against me, dear siblings of mine. He says, we see things slowing down, the small debris freeze in place, the very space itself becomes stiller than it already was, as if time itself had come to a halt. We see Thraxa shoot out towards the planetoid-sized meteor in a dark blur, then returns to his original position, if he never even moved in the first place. Time then seems to resume around him, with what Thraxa did to the planetoid starting to take action. We see the planetoid experience several flashes all over it, just before it explodes into billions of tiny pieces as they scatter all over the vacuum of space. Thraxa smiles, proud of himself. Thraxa. Well, that was easy enough. Thraxa 1, sibling 0, he says to himself happily, as we move back to Sarubia to see his family, who were watching him through one of Clara's windows. Cilia, look at that smug look on his face. Sorry, little bro, but even if you could destroy it to pieces, the spell would still be active in the tiny fragments, Cilia says as we move back to Thraxa, who sensed something wrong, as the billions of the tiny pieces started to restore themselves into their own individual-sized planetoids, as they begin colliding with each other, with Thraxa right in the center of this sea of planetoids. Thraxa, he sighs, and then says to himself, I hate magic. As he begins to fly through the formed planetoid belt, dodging the planetoids from crushing him, BTWN them, as we pan outwards to view the billions of planets starting to move towards the edge of the Booties Void, threatening to move outside of the Great Nothing, reaching the neighboring star systems. We move back to Thraxa, who realizes that. Oh no, you don't, as we see a vibrant white light glowing from him, as the light pans out further, enveloping all the planetoids within it, halting their movement as the light begins residing back at the center. The planetoids getting pulled in together, with the light and space around them distorting and twisting. The planetoids then start to succumb to the spaghetti effect. As they get stretched thinner and thinner the closer they get pulled in, we come to Thraxa's hand, which at his palm was a tiny black hole, the size of a baseball, simply floating at his palm with its white accretion disk, getting its light from Thraxa's white aura. The black hole quickly made short work of the billions of planetoids, sucking them within it to absolute nothingness, with Thraxa closing his palm, crushing the black hole, his white aura subsiding into his skin as he stopped glowing. We then come to see him in whole, no longer had an aura, as he places his hands behind his head. Thraxa. Man, I hate magic. Even if I destroyed it to pieces, those individual pieces still had that magic. So breaking it to pieces wasn't a good idea. I had to destroy it down to the smallest of atoms to make sure everything was destroyed. Magic sure is a pain to deal with. At least black holes leave no trace of anything that gets broken down by it, including space and time themselves. he says to himself as his face twists in anger. But now I gotta wait who knows how long, so I can use my powers properly again. Ah, well, nothing to be done about it now. Guess I'll just drift around till I feel my powers working again, he complains to himself. We move back to Sarubia to see the rest of the Thraxas family who were watching from Clara's dimensional windows. Cilia. His physical capabilities never cease to amaze me. He might not have an awakening, but his base powers and physicals might give some of our high schoolers a run for their money. Sora. Well, he is stronger than most, if not all of his peers, but strength alone wouldn't matter, given what we've faced in the past. Bro. You have a point, Dad. But the last war here was, 40 million years ago? Sora. Yes, but new enemies could arise, and I need our brother to be able to take care of himself when that time arises, for us Sarubians, peace never lasts, as all of them sigh. End.